John Wayne was an honorable man. They are all, these Waynes, honorable men. Except, of course, Wayne Morris, right, Bob? Don't get him started on that. We have another honorable man who is particularly sensitive to the history of Bob English at Portland State University, and that's Bob Casteel.
Oh. Yeah.
This is one time I don't have to have a time limit. I don't know if you've all met Rhea Paul, who has come and will start in January, following in the footsteps of Bob English. We're so delighted to have her from Yale. English was so enthralled that such a person would come to our program that he said to Mary, may I greet her, give a little talk on behalf of the program? And Mary said, of course, because Mary always says, of course, to Bob. Well, he said, I'll just talk about Yale. And he took 15 minutes on Y, 10 minutes on A, 20 minutes on L. The rest of the hour on E, and Mary leaned over to me and said, thank God we didn't take the one from Massachusetts Institute of Technology. I'm going on my 30th year in the state system. I'm going on my 29th year working with Bob English, sharing offices with him, sharing joys with him. He's the person that taught me outlining. So my...
Where's the blackboard?
You didn't know he could do that, eh? Oh. So mine's entitled The English Reflection Outline. It's A, testing, B, talking, C. I'll get to those later. Let's go back to A, testing. I wish I had a blackboard so I could put it all up there so you wouldn't miss any of it in your notes. Under testing, I have 4 items: multiple choice, test writing, test taking, and test discussion. The first is a little longer than the others because he tends to multiple choice, usually about 17 pages. And it's not so hard to take it, it's the trick of figuring out how to grade it. Let's see if you can figure this one out. Bob English is A, stingy, there's a little note, not generous. B, avaricious, C, covetous. C, spendthrift, one who spends improvidentially or wastefully. D, frugal, characterized by or reflecting economy and expenditure of resources. Or E, cheap, that's C-H-E-A-P. Depreciate, C, professor. Or F, cheap, C-H-E-E-P, to utter faint shrill sounds, C, students. G, tight-fisted, miserly, stingy, note. Plus 1 point for each correct answer, minus 2 points for each incorrect answer. Clue, definitive answer, C, spendthrift. On test writing, in 1958, he had a marvelous secretary, did everything he told him to do. Did I say that right? No? Yeah, I think I did. Anyway, he hands out the 17-page multiple choice exam, and they said, what do you want us to do with it? He said, take it, of course, answer it. The answers are here. Each one, in parens, had the answers which he'd neatly typed in to each of his 17 pages of multiple choice. True? Well, we worked a long time, and there's been years I couldn't share these stories. I finally had the opportunity. Test taking. There was the time he lost his key. He later found it. Was a little chagrined. He was the only one that flunked the exam. Then there's test discussion, and test discussion is the 4th one under testing, and I'm sure a lot of students have experienced this. test discussion because he liked to encourage students. You earned the highest B I have ever given. Why doesn't he give me the lowest A he ever gave? B, talking. Bob Blakely, 1953. He's walking across the University of Oregon campus. Here comes Bob charging along with the briefcase. He says, "Don't stop me. I'm in a hurry. I don't have time to talk." In fact, it took him 10 minutes to explain what he had to do and why he didn't have time to talk. Then there's English to McFarland to Casteel. When he was director, I lived in Lowell, he lived in Lake Oswego, McFarland lived in Gresham. It didn't cost 10 cents to call Gresham, so he'd have McFarland relay. Then there were the 1:30 a.m. calls, his best working hours. Bob Casteel, "I'm resigning. I'm going back to California to teach." I said, "If you don't make sense when you awaken me at 1:30, I'm not talking to you," and I hung up. The only time I'd ever hung up on him in my life. I go back, I get to sleep. At 2 o'clock he calls and he said, "I'm sorry I awakened you." Honors of the Association, OSHA. We're celebrating the evening. We're in the same room, 3:30. Bob, I'm saying, "I've got to go to sleep. It's been a joyous evening, but I've got to go to sleep." Bob English says, "Yes, my talking's keeping me awake too." C, beyond frugal and well past cheap. 1, coffee. First 10 years I worked with him, always bought him coffee. One day he says to me, "This isn't right, Bob. Every time we go out for coffee, you pay. I think in the future we should each pay for our own." Two, Standard Oil. The only man I know that called Standard Oil in New Jersey got the president. How he did it, I don't know. He said, "I paid the bill, get rid of that damn computer." 3, soap detergents. He used soap? Yeah, you did do that, right, Bob? I'm not going to tell it all, Bob. Detergent, he wrote a 3-page, single-space typed letter to a detergent company because he broke out a little bit. I said, "Why'd you write so much?" He said, "I thought they might send me a case to make up for it." He got a letter back. He was chagrined. They said, "We agree that some detergents will do that. We recommend you try a different brand." Then there was the 10-cent check he got from Procter & Gamble's. With 6 nickels and a 10-cent check from Procter & Gamble's, Bianca wouldn't sell him coffee because she didn't trust the check. Things not to share at retirement. 1, why the drama department at COP was called the Fruit Shed. 2, 1963 and the 2 citations he got for driving his 1938 Plymouth. 3, trapped in a house with 3 daughters and a male cat of which the latter ran away. 4, why the gay blade is now referred to as the blade. Finally, let me tell you how much I appreciated the first 10 years at PSU with Bob directing the program. For the most part, he did it on 3 hours sleep per night, if you don't count the 5-hour nap from 5 p.m. to 11. In case you're confused, you have to really love someone to needle them this much in public. There's one person, I'm so delighted that Pat and Harold Lillywhite are here because I know how much they mean to Bob. Another very significant person in his past wrote a letter could not be here, but sent a letter, the director of his dissertation. I'd like to just quote the last paragraph. So let me say, Bob, that in my opinion, you have done everything so well. As a family man, as a soldier, as an educator, and as a person. Someone that's been with him for 25 years. As a family man, Linda, Sharon, Roberta, we're really proud of your dad. Captain English, fellow English, my buddy.